Hi, everyone all around the world. My name is Sean J. McCall, and I am your host for this edition of Let's Talk, this time new on YouTube Live. So I've got to get used to all the things myself. And I am glad to have my very first guest on the show on YouTube Live. Thank you, Wade Baldwin, for coming in. I appreciate it, man. It was a spontaneous thing, but I'm glad that you hit me up and was like, let's do it today.
Yeah, man. I saw my guy James Gist on here. And anytime I hear James talk, I find a way to listen. So it was with you. So I'll get a shot at it as well.
Okay, we're gonna get right into it. I'm not all for the long intros and stuff like that. So I got a little bit of story to tell. So back on March 1st, 2022, I hit you up for the very first time requesting an interview. And I know you didn't see it. Fast forward to today. Thank you. Shout out to James that you saw his live, jumped in there, and I was like, when I saw you come on, I was like, I gotta hit him up. Like, yo, I need that interview.
Yeah. Now, like I said, anytime James Gist talks, that's my complete vet. He's helped me so much in my European career, just navigating everything. I just love hearing him talk, and to be on the platform with you as well. I just wanted to also be on here and just talk hoop, talk the experience, talk the knowledge.
I appreciate that, man. So I've got four, Mount Rushmore has four heads. I've got four people on my people that I said I have to interview. You were one, you're one, you're on there, and Kyle Hines is on there. I got two more. I'm not going to say who those other two are, but I'm going to get those two too. So now with you, I got two down. So let's go back to young Wade. After two stellar seasons in college, you get drafted by Memphis with the 17th pick. What was that moment like when you heard your name?
That's everything you could dream of. It was when you're actually at the draft, it's a little bit more complicated than everything else because you have your agents at the table, and there's different teams that try to pick you at all different spots. I was projected to go as early as 8, but then it was 14, then it was you might be going to Milwaukee at 10 or 11 it was, and they ended up drafting other dudes. So you're constantly like on the fence, emotion-wise, like where am I going? And you just see numbers go. And at 17th pick, it was the Memphis Grizzlies. And when you hear your name called, it's like a sigh of relief in that moment. It's like, damn, I finally got called. And when that happened, I just jumped up, gave everybody who was at my table just a hug, walked up on that stage, try not to trip. They overhand, and then there's just so much to do after that process in the back with interviews and calls and fan engagement stuff that you have to do. You're kind of backed in there for about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
You don't finish out and get out until the first round draft is kind of over, and then you're kind of wrapping up from where I was positioned at, and then you're jumping into that after party, that draft party. And I'm a New Jersey kid. It was right at the Barclays, so I had a nice event after, and then man, you're on the next plane the next morning to Memphis the very next day. Hungover.
A lot, like a roller coaster of emotions and just a whirlwind time. I'm gonna give you a stat line. Let's see if you remember it.
Okay.
7 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. What game was that?
That's the first game ever.
Yeah. Rookie first game.
I was playing against my high school teammate and longtime friend Carl Towns, who was on the Timberwolves. So my dad and our families were all at the game. I played well this game, and I got the opportunity to play as a rookie, which was big for that Memphis Grizzlies team. They were such an old team, veteran team. So for me to have a chance was just amazing to be out there.
What did you think after that very first game?
Oh man, I thought I was an NBA All-Star. I thought I was lining up for a 10-year career.
I mean, honestly, if you don't think that, you don't belong.
Yeah, no, it's funny, man. The highs and lows of the emotions of a younger player in the NBA it's funny. After that game, I'm like, man, I could chill for a couple games. I don't know. Y'all see what I could do out here. But that's not how it is. it's an everyday thing. One game after the next, you gotta bring it and replicate it.
Mm-hmm. You had a wild ride in the NBA, to say the least. You began your I'm sorry. You had a wild ride in the NBA, but then you transferred over to Europe. How did you decide to go to Olympiacos and kind of leave the NBA? How was that decision to make for you?
It was a difficult but easy one. At that point in time, I had two-way offers from the Timberwolves, and I think one other team gave me an opportunity to do a two-way. I just came off a two-way with Portland and ended up getting it converted, and then guaranteed for another year. And it was just a lot of bouncing around. It was just a lot of the politics of not playing as much, sitting behind guys. I was unfortunate that I was always getting picked by these teams that were top
They had
teams
vets.
in the West. You know, I'm
Right, right.
I go to Memphis, they have a crew already.
Yeah.
I go to Portland, you got Dame and CJ. You're not playing. With Evan Turner to the backup point guard spot. So I was again like the third guard, and I was like, man, I just want to play. I just want to feel like I get better. And I felt like the G League didn't really provide me that. I was getting the 20 points a game. I was doing the 8 assists, defending the top guy, but it never led to anything. And I just had a reality check, just a mirror check. I wanted to kind of write my own ticket for my career.
Right.
And then the business side of it as well. Like the two ways back then were around a certain range, and for the offer that I got in Greece was significantly higher. So I just kind of wanted to carve out a career over there where I can make money and see how my game just evolves. So that was kind of like an easy jump for me. I was on a boat ride back from Martha's Vineyard, and I'm talking to David Blatt the whole boat ride from Martha's Vineyard back to Massachusetts, which is like 30, 40 minutes, talking to him about the transition over there. He was at the time the Olympiacos coach. And I think after that ferry ride, I was like, I'll be there. Like what time, when you guys need me there. And that was it.
Looking back on it, how prepared were you for not only playing on such a high level, EuroLeague, Olympiacos, but also life in general overseas? How prepared were you?
The life part, that's very easy for me. I find myself kind of like a chameleon in a way that I can adapt to really anything. The basketball and the knowledge and what's understood overseas was zero. I mean, at that point in my life, I couldn't tell you one EuroLeague team. I didn't even know there was a EuroLeague. I didn't know there was anything. I was just like, if you're not in the NBA, you're ass, basically.
Right.
You're a scrub, like you're a loser. So it was the mental fight over that, but still having the confidence that I wanted to write my own career and be in charge and be in the front seat, driver's seat of what I wanted to do with my career.
To be in the driver's seat and control.
Right.
So you played against some of the best in the NBA and EuroLeague. Do you remember your welcome to EuroLeague moment?
Probably welcome to EuroLeague moment is the times I didn't play my first year. Like I was kind of the guy that didn't even dress for 4 or 5 straight games.
Really?
For Olympiacos, and that year there was no Greek league, so 4 or 5 games meant a month and a half.
Wow.
Where I was just practicing but not able to suit up in the games because I didn't make that roster, and they were kind of trying to get off my contract. That was kind of like the welcome to the EuroLeague moment for me. Just being thrown off by everything. You come in with the mentality that you're coming from the NBA, and you believe that I'm gonna walk over here, I'm gonna dust these dudes. These dudes, they suck. And walking into a team, you're not averaging 5-6 points. You're not playing any minutes. That was my welcome to the EuroLeague.
When you look at it, based on what you just said, who do you think, whose responsibility is it to maybe prepare you, prep you for what you're about to experience? And not just for someone who's coming from the NBA, because that's a huge transition in itself, but also a guy that's going to Austria, that's going to Germany for the first time. Who do you think is more responsible to get that player prepped? The player themselves,
Yeah.
maybe the agents, or maybe a old head mentor, things like that?
Listen, in the life of basketball, in the realm of this career, you have to be in charge of everything that's going on with you. You have to educate yourself on what position, what team you're putting yourself on. You got to understand you need to communicate. You need to network with the guys who are over there that you may know. And me, I've never been that type of person. I've always been, I'm going to put my hand on that hot stove and I'm going to figure that shit out. That was me. And I found over that I didn't talk to anybody. My agent, he tried to educate me like as much as he could.
Right.
And he's a good dude. I've been with my agent for now 10 years straight. And he did what he could, but it's a difference when you're hearing the message but not understanding it. And I didn't understand what he was saying in terms of everything. So I had to figure it out myself. And I think that every player needs to do the research on who's the coach, talk to some players, understand what type of teammates you're going in there with, understand the country, ask questions to people that you may know. Don't be so shy. Don't be so brash and all that. Like, just have an open heart to things. And that's something that I wish I changed in my first year. But I definitely got to look myself in the mirror. And I always look myself in the mirror and say that was 100% me. Now, what comes with that is also, I believe, a guy who's been out there for a while, that's on the team. It's his responsibility to do something. We have new guys here at Fener, for example, that are young, never played over here. I'm the first one on Instagram when y'all sign here and say, hey, welcome to the team. Congratulations. You need anything? Hit me. This is my number. What you do with it is what you do with it. So that's kind of my standpoint on it, because I know how it feels coming over here and not knowing anybody, not knowing how to speak, what to really ask. So I just go out in front. You don't gotta ask me. I'm gonna approach you right away to try to talk. So that's been my mentality on it.
I think what I do is I try to help educate players on what they're going into. It's a little bit different for the guys and girls that I talk to. They're usually not EuroLeague level. They're playing in lower leagues or things like that. And those are the ones that need actually more help, because you guys, you EuroLeague guys, you have your agents, you have your team, you have people that kind of buffer things for you that you can do. But a lot of these guys and girls are coming overseas for this first time, playing in smaller leagues, smaller markets, things like that, not making a whole lot of money. And so I've tried to place myself as a source of reference. I played 13 years, I coached another 10, and I'm still living over here. For those that are in between and are wanting to get to there where you are. I wish I had somebody like me when I first came overseas as well, it's I think that it is definitely the player's responsibility to do his due or her due diligence and check things out, especially now in the modern technology age. You can find everything out if you want. But yeah, a lot of them don't do that. And like you said, you looked yourself in the face and said, hey, I probably needed to do that earlier. And I'm giving you a big shout out, a respect, because there are still a lot of players that I would say gatekeep or don't reach out to the young guys, and you, like you said, you kind of feel like you have that responsibility. And I got to tip my hat off to you, because there's very few that actually take that responsibility serious.
Right. For example, I have a best friend of mine. I went to high school with him. His name is Brian Tyree. He's climbing the ladder in Europe. Started out playing in Belgium his first year for Oostende. And the year before he got there, Levi Randolph played there. And now I know Levi Randolph from college in Alabama. playing against him in the SEC. He's a little bit older than me, but he had just played there the year before, and now they're recruiting Brian. So another advice that you could give is these teams on whatever level always find a way to rotate imports, right? It's not too hard to look who you're replacing and
Exactly.
maybe them how it went. You know what I mean? Now, some guys are going to have poor years that have bad experiences, and now you could take that knowledge how you want to. But in a lot of situations, you find that guys had success there. They leveled up, and they're willing to give that knowledge because now they moved up the ladder a little bit.
Yeah.
So go reach out to Levi Randolph and ask him how it was living in Ostende. Where should I live? There's simple questions like that that just get your rapport up with that person that make this transition a little bit easier.
Yeah. Back to EuroLeague. You played in really top level teams all through your career overseas. Fans love the rivalries. They love the derbies. They love that kind of stuff. What's the most intense rivalry that you've personally been a part of?
Okay, so from a real life impact of me playing in the games, high emotion, I think the Maccabi and Hapoel Tel Aviv is a very big one.
Wow.
That's a very big one. But obviously what trumps that, I didn't get that great of an experience my first year. You can't deny the Olympiacos Panathinaikos. You can't deny that one. That one for sure is the number one to be a part of. If you're really ingrained in it, you really understand culture. And I didn't understand the culture fully at that time, so I didn't know the magnitude of what I was really playing under. And that's why I say to Israel, because I knew what was happening. I was ingrained with it. I can feel once you be a part of the countries, you start feeling for the locals that are there, and you understand a little bit that it's a bigger game than just another game. And I think that's the way I took it my first year in Greece, and why I say the Israel one is emotionally the bigger one for me.
Of course, now I have to congratulate you for winning the title with your team last year, and that's like the crowning moment. I saw an interview that you, before you got to Fener, that you said that you came there to win a title.
Yeah.
And how great is it to have fulfilled that brash statement in your first year there?
It was tough. I'll be honest, it was tough because it's an entirely different role than what I had played or envisioned myself in the situation. I walked in as an all EuroLeague guard 2 years in a row, a top scorer in the league, a top assist man in the league. And I'm walking to a team. I said, listen, I'm playing with Nigel Hayes-Davis, who's also one of the best players in Europe, who was first team all EuroLeague the year before. We got to win, but I don't know how it's all going to work. But I figure you put me and another all EuroLeague player with the roster that we had all together with the best coach in Europe since I've been out here, he's never missed a Final Four. I said, there's no excuse why we can't win. So then it was just about finding a way on how to win. And that's where the tough part for me was, transitioning into that and also dealing with injury. But it was worth absolutely every bit of emotion. It was worth every single bit of sacrifice. And it just was just the best feeling, knowing that, you're the champion, and not only the champion of EuroLeague, but the ability to win the Triple Crown, being locked in and finishing out your season, even after you win a EuroLeague championship, be able to come back, do a parade, visit the president, go to different museums, even on the same day of the games, be able to close out a Turkish league. It was all in all the best year of my career, for all the different reasons I ever thought would be considered the best year of my career.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
When you were thinking about going there, did you have a couple conversations with your coach, where new coach Saras, And how did that go? How did he convince you, okay, this is where we see you? And was that in tune with what you wanted to achieve?
No, there wasn't. With him, there wasn't a conversation of what we need you for. I think it was like, we know that you're like a good player. We followed you. He worked really hard with the front office to get me in the door to Fener. And once you know, it's like coaches and GMs and everybody can have the idea of how you're going to play, and we need you to do this, this, and this. But when you step in them practice lines and you step in the preseason and you go through the process of meshing with a different system, you figure out the role real quick. And you figure out that, okay, maybe things didn't align for how the viewpoint was coming into the season. But now we got to adjust on the fly now that everybody's here and we're seeing everybody how they mesh all together. So I give Cyrus a lot of credit. He didn't come in and say, Wade, you're going to play this many minutes, and this is how we're doing it for you, and we're running this offense for you. He didn't do that. He said, well, I'd love to have you on my team. I think you're the perfect fit for what we can do to win. And let's go. Work your ass off every day. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. And that's just been the mentality joining Fenerbahçe.
When you talk about Cyrus, I was a huge fan. He's a little bit younger than I am. I was a huge fan of him when he was at Maryland, when he was in college. And I wanted to ask you, like, have you ever watched any YouTube clips of him in college?
Not college, just the Europe.
When he was Europe, he was a beast. He was tough. I was really a big fan of his. Now let's go back. Moving countries is not a small thing. What do you think was your biggest cultural adjustment when you first came overseas? I mean, of course, going to Greece and you weren't playing at first and things like that, but cultural, the life. You said you're like a chameleon, but still, you're still coming over for the first time. What was your biggest cultural adjustment?
Man, well, Greece. Listen, the funny thing, you can't flush the toilet. You can't put toilet paper in the toilet. Man, I was lighting that bathroom up. Listen, I was putting all that toilet paper in there. I'm not putting it in that trash bin. Man, they knocked on my door about 2 months in and said, "Excuse me, you need to stop putting toilet paper." They knew because the old pipes, they were clogged up underneath the building. They knew who it was right away. So that was probably the Greece one. That was the biggest. That was the biggest. The funniest one that I gotta say was the adjustment to overseas.
Okay, hey, I did not expect to hear that, but I'm glad you shared it.
That's what that throws somebody off. Listen, like, that'll throw you off. You mean I can't wipe and put it in the toilet? Okay. I don't know how I'm about to do this, but okay.
But obviously you adjusted.
Yeah, that's the shit. I'll tell you one thing. I ain't put it in the damn toilet. I mean, I put it in the garbage can. That should stay in the toilet. I had to get out of there. It was just bad and bad the whole year, on and off.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So every team has like a unique locker room vibe.
Yeah.
What's the funniest or the best locker room that you've ever been a part of overseas?
Oh, I think Munich. Munich was an hilarious year. Just the COVID situation, just being so gelled in with those guys. So many different characters. James Giss was on that team. He joined us. And then I'd probably say Maccabi, my second year. And both years in Maccabi were just through the roof phenomenal. I never wanted to leave Maccabi if there was no war, in all honesty. But the second group was a very special group because we went through the whole war situation and playing in Serbia and going to Israel and coming back to Israel. And that took a special group to handle that, have success in the EuroLeague, taking Panathinaikos to 5 games, and then also finishing out the year and winning the Israeli League championship in that. That took a special group, took a special commitment from all of us. A lot of player meetings we had just dealing with the whole war. So I'll probably give that locker room the nod above everything else.
Mm-hmm. What's one thing about the EuroLeague grind that most fans don't really understand?
The domestic games.
Mm-hmm.
The EuroLeague is so marketed over here as the highest league, and the especially playing for these bigger clubs that you have to win, you have to reach the Final Four.
Every game matters,
and everything matters. The point spread on how much you're going to beat a team matters. Like, to be that focused and travel to those destinations and come back and play in your domestic league and still find ways to win and have the energy and have that pop and have that same drive is very difficult for EuroLeague teams, especially the very top ones, because you come in with that, that bravado, like you're better than everybody else, and then
right.
when you come in
and everybody wants to beat that EuroLeague team.
And when
so they're going to play on a higher
yeah.
level than they usually do.
And they're not bad anyways. They're not bad. Right. They're not bad team. If you don't bring it, you're going to lose. And even in those big clubs, if you lose the domestic game, that's almost as bad as losing the EuroLeague game, especially here at Fenerbahçe. And I give our team last year was phenomenal with that. We won 24, 22 consecutive Turkish league games. We lost actually after we won the Final Four to a team to potentially break the record for most consecutive wins in Turkish league. But those are the hard games to sit there and compete in and get your game better and make sure that you're healthy and do the routines that you do every day to make sure that your body's fit, your mind's fit, and finishing that week off on a strong note, because a win in the domestic league can launch you to how you perform against Barcelona, Madrid, Monaco, that next Wednesday or Thursday game that you have, or double week. So they're very big games.
I would call myself also a student of the game. I'm a coach as well. So I tend to look at games differently, and I've always liked your game. And that's why you're on my Mount Rushmore for. So you have a reputation as a competitor. Where did that edge come from? Was it from your upbringing? I mean, you're from Jersey. I know Jersey people. And was it from your upbringing, or how did you get your competitive fire?
It's like a born thing. I've always
either you got it or you don't.
Yeah, I was always been described as that. I have older cousins that are considered my brothers. I was just playing up in age, so I always came with that extra the extra, fuck you mentality in a way. Just to always feel like I have to prove myself to everybody. And that's just been my character. Like, I just always felt like I had to go above and beyond to, show people what I got. And I think that was instilled in me at a young age through every sport that I played when I was younger. And it's just carried over me to my professional career. And then when you get waived by NBA teams, you sit the bench in your first year in EuroLeague, it just adds a little bit more to it. It adds a little more, I want to really kill you now to it. And that's what happened with me.
Like, as of right now, there's a lot of movement as far as NBA players coming overseas now. It's European basketball, EuroLeague in general, is sexy now. Back when in 1995, I'm showing my age, when I was 22 and I was coming out of college, nobody really wanted to play overseas. Now, EuroLeague, European basketball, overseas basketball in general is having a boom right now, especially for import players. Do you think that sometimes, especially American players, underestimate how tough the European game is, and also underestimate the life that they will be living when they come overseas?
Yeah, I personally think that a lot of Americans are scared of the change.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what's comfortable is what's comfortable.
Yeah.
I talked to Lorenzo Brown, for example. I asked him like about your career, and he said, man, one of my biggest regrets in my career, it's not a regret, it's not something, whatever. He said, man, I wish I came out here a little earlier.
Mm.
I tried the G League thing. I tried to make the league. He made the league with Toronto. He had some spurts. He was in, out. He was in the G League for too long. And he said, man, I wish I started out here a little earlier, because it would have just bolstered me in my career. And he had so much success. We came out here at the same time, the same year we entered EuroLeague together, but Lorenzo's 4 or 5 years older than me. Imagine if Lorenzo Brown started 4 years early. Man, the career, the resume that he's already built, if he would have started that earlier, man, you know what I mean?
That's true when you think about it like that. Like,
I feel like I'm lucky in a way. Like I'm 29. I came to EuroLeague at 23. And, I feel like I'm one of those guys that came out here, embraced it, and figured it out and carved that away to where I can maneuver it the right way. And I hear a lot of guys, they're like, man, I wish I came out here earlier. That American guys that have potentially came out here later. Just not being scared of like that cultural change of what's comfortable back home. I think that's what frightens some Americans.
To be honest, all of us, when we're hooping back home, when we're practicing, when everybody's sleeping, when we're getting up early in the morning and going to hit the weights or whatever, that is the dream, the NBA. It's like NBA or bust. That's the single mindedness that we as Americans have. We're going to go to the NBA.
Right.
And then, of course, like you said earlier, when you end up in Europe, you kind of think, okay, I'm going to kill all of them. They garbage. I'm gonna wreck shop, and I'm gonna be back in the NBA. And I remember in my interview with Kyle Hines, I asked him when he kind of gave up that NBA dream, and he said it was after his 3rd season over, and then he put everything into being the best European basketball player he could be, doing everything that was necessary. He had a different role that was when he came to Bamberg. He had a different role than he had when he was in Italy. But he carved a niche for himself and ended up having a great career, one of the best as an American. And I think a lot of players, when they first come over, they still have that NBA dream.
Yeah.
What was it for you? When did you decide, okay, actually, I'm going to make my niche here and I'm all in?
Yeah, I still feel like I haven't, honestly.
That was my follow-up question. Thank you for saying.
In all my contracts, I have NBA outs in it. And that's just a major leverage point in negotiations with teams, because you never know. You take an example like Nigel on the team.
At
30 years old, he signed a contract to play with the Phoenix Suns. Last year, I was extremely close to joining the Los Angeles Clippers, who were really on the fence of signing me to a minimum contract, and I had the Fenerbahçe deal as well. So just teetering between the two. And I feel like this opportunity at Fenerbahçe was better for me to continue just playing and my style and just building off. And I was just extremely hungry to reach a Final Four out here and try to get to a championship, because I've been so close for 3 attempts. I've lost 3 game 5s before last season. So I always like to keep the optionality open with the way I run my business specifically. Just because you never know. You never know how the basketball world can turn. You never know what team may like you. And when you negotiate your contracts, you might get an extra couple dollars in your pocket that you didn't expect, because you have that you have that ability to possibly play at that higher level.
Right. Okay, man, I'm almost done with you. I got 2 more questions. I want to go transition a little bit to life outside of basketball. So you and your wife have 2 children. How has becoming a father and a husband influenced your basketball life and the decisions you make for your career?
They help a lot in the way of just the support and just the natural growth of life in terms of basketball, I've always been a very driven person, regardless with the family or not. I don't want to take anything away from family by all means. It's actually a little bit wrong for me saying, because when you watch your kids in the stands and they get to see you play, it gives you a little bit more of the energy. It gives you a little bit more of the smile. When you come back from having a bad game and a loss, it doesn't hurt as bad because you can come back home to a hug. So they 100% helped me grow in that way of not carrying over the emotions of poor performances leading on to the next day in practice. And as a leader of your team, you always want to be the guy that is kind of level-headed in the locker room and on to the next one with a positive attitude. And they've definitely helped me with that in my career from the start. And having kids and a family and getting more in tune with love with all that.
That's dope. Last one. If your career was turned into a documentary, what would the title be?
Fear. I think that's just like my slogan for everything. And that just means face everything and rise. I think that no matter what turn, no matter what happens, we're gonna break through that wall. We're gonna face it, and we're gonna come out with a positive solution. So I probably have it titled that.
Dope. That's a great note to end the interview with. Now I have one last thing. Always my last guest gives a recommendation to someone to come on the show for the future. The thing is you have to help me get this person, because you have no idea how many players I've written to. I wrote to you the first time, March 1st, 2022, and it's 2025. So I'm going to need your help getting that person. You just need to let them know that I'll be writing them. You give anybody a shout out that you think would be a good guest to have on the show, and then help me get that person. So who you got? It can be a coach, it can be a player, it can be anybody in the world of overseas basketball.
Man,
I've had player wives on before. I've run the gamut. GMs, I've run the gamut.
See, with this question, I'm trying to think of somebody whose game and whose off the court presence has just it inspired me in a way, and someone that I commend and I'm like, man, that dude, he's doing it the right way. He's plugging along. Obviously my first one, I will always have him first, is my best friend Brian Tyree. I think that he has an incredible story through his European career.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of knowledge and experience of starting out at a lower club and making his way up to making more money, being a top scorer in Champions League, and the rest. I'll probably have to say him. Right.
Okay, let's do it. Then you hit him up. I believe I've already hit him up actually and didn't get an answer. So you hit him up and let him know to look in his spam inbox on Instagram. And he's probably got something in there, and I'll hit him up again. Wade, man, I really appreciate you taking the time out, man. It was spontaneous tonight. I was totally over the moon when you said, let's do it tonight. I appreciate you taking the time out, man. I know you got a busy schedule. And I'm personally am very pleased to see your rise, and someone who really watches the game and appreciates different players' styles. I am seriously I was really pleased that you won it last season, and now everybody's gunning for you to get it again. So continue it, man. I'm going to be watching. I'll shout you out every once in a while. And I appreciate you coming on and being a part of this.
Thank you, man. I got another name too.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Tyson Ward. He played in Germany for a couple years.
Yeah, I know Tyson. He's got a great story too.
I had a house in Florida, and his dad worked me out every summer that I was there. No charge, anything. Just a beautiful family, good people. Again, a guy who just you just have respect for, and who just starts at a low level.
Yeah.
And now he's on Olympiacos. And
Yeah.
we played against him in Paris. You know, had a chance
Yeah.
to go to the Final Four. So I really respect the guys that have started from the ground up in this Europe battle and are now playing for top clubs.
Okay, so you got two names that you
Got to.
dropped. So it's two names you're gonna hit up, and I'm gonna hit them up too.
All
I
right.
appreciate you, my guy, man. We're done for the evening. I hope you can enjoy the evening with your family, what's left of it, and I'll be in touch, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on, and I'll be watching, and I wish you nothing but continued success and good health.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it. That's it, everyone.